Thank you, Ricky. It's good to see all of you here. It's good to see all of you here, particularly on a really cold night. And I know at this time we're all starting to think about very cold weather, and those are unwelcome thoughts. But the warmth that should come tonight should come from kind of our thanks to the Browning Cinema. We're coming to the end of this semester. This was our semester of European film that is focused in many ways on films about longing and journeys. And we're very happy here in November to present a film that is dealing with that kind of longing in a very warm climate. So I hope that you leave here with that same feeling. I want to thank in particular for this semester Ted Barron, who is the executive director here at the Performing Arts Center. He met tonight's guest, our featured filmmaker, at the Munich Film Festival. And by some miracle of logistics and circumstance, our guest is able to be with us tonight. Born 1979 in Almadén in Spain, place very important to him, by the way, not only for his birth, but for his interests. Chico Pereira is a PhD student at the University of California, Santa Cruz. And this is a special welcome to the Nanovic Institute film series, because at the Nanovic Institute, we love students and have student self-interest at our heart, which I hope you've seen in some of the things that you may have seen in trailers before this film. Chico did his undergraduate degree in Edinburgh, in Scotland, where he's lived for 9 years. His original training was environmental science, but he did his MFA in advanced film practice at Edinburgh Napier University. His first feature-length work, this is his second feature-length work, but his first feature-length was called Pablo's Winter, which was a film that presents the last generation of mercury miners in Almadén, which is an industry that's been going on for about 2,000 years, mining mercury, very dangerous. It won the International Documentary Film Festival in Amsterdam award for Best Student Documentary in 2012, as well as several other awards. His second film was called Polaris, 2012. It was a short documentary, about 12 minutes, produced by the Scottish Documentary Institute. Presents a day in the life of a Filipino immigrant working in a fishing vessel off the northeastern coast of Scotland. So you can start to get a sense that Chico is a very cosmopolitan human filmmaker, alive to all of the details of life going on around him, no matter from what origins it comes. But this film, DONKEYOTE, is his second feature-length film. The first U.S. premiere was at the True Falls Film Festival in Missouri, which I highly recommend. It has won already awards from the Documenta Madrid for Best Spanish Director, the Alcances Cariz Documentary Festival for Best Director, the Edinburgh International Film Festival for Best Documentary, and it has been nominated for a BAFTA Film Award. And it's still in contention for other prizes, so we kind of hold this in our hearts and wish him all the best. Mr. Pereira is interested, as we've learned, in his conversations with students and faculty and colleagues here at Notre Dame today, he's interested in the relationship between documentary and performance, which is something to think about, creative and social uses of documentary, and the relationship of creativity and all of those issues to place. So again, we return to Almadén. Getting to know this place is very important to him, and working with it is very important to him. And so the relationships that he builds with people in Almadén are very important to him. Of course, one of which is his uncle, who appears in the film tonight. So it's a really very great pleasure to present young filmmakers who are so passionate and so thoughtful about what they're doing. Mr. Chico Pereira.
Hello, thank you everyone for coming. And of course, thank you to Notre Dame University for inviting us. Thank you, Ted, for exposing this film in the vastness of a film festival program like Munich. And thanks, Anthony, for that lovely introduction, and for Nanovic Institute for European Studies for bringing us here. And as it was said, it was a difficult puzzle to kind of like put together, but it worked very nicely, and I can only be thankful and grateful for my visit to this lovely university and this lovely town and community that you sense in this particular environment. Yes, this film is our second work in the area. I'm from a rural and post-industrial area in Spain, villages of 5,000 people. Somehow I'm one of the first generation that is not a mining generation or a miner's generation, but by trying to find stories in this small place over and over, I feel like a miner, or at least I do some kind of digging or cultural mining in the community. So somehow this livelihood tradition get kind of like transmitted and converted in something different. But I guess there's something about digging that is in my system from my ancestors. Yes, I work in documentary, and I'm very proud to say that I work in documentaries, because for me documentary is very much about the human relationship that develop through filmmaking. You might love film a lot, as I do, and filmmaking, and you might have your big reference about great filmmakers in the world. But there is a point when you work in documentary then the people come first, and there's nothing that you won't betray these people for your film at any point. It's not about just getting the perfect film or getting the perfect story. It's very much an ethical position of I'm working with real people in a real world, and I want to contribute to them. And again, that's something to do with mining. Mining communities, we've been suffering a lot from extraction. Like you go there as a mining company, you extract the goods, and then you don't or hardly give anything back to the community. So I'm always being very conscious about not doing extractive practices in my documentary kind of career. And yes, I work with performance in documentary, which at first might seem like a contradiction. It seems that documentary is that kind of filmmaking that doesn't have performance, that what you see there is what it is. But somehow I think the reality of the people covers more than the moment when we encounter them. We encounter them in the present, but everyone has a story. When I'm confronted with not confronted in a bad way, but when I meet my uncle after many years, and he's now 73 as he was when we make this film, I know that the person that I meet there at that moment, that's not the whole thing. There's a whole story behind. How do you get those things to go back? How do you make those things apparent, that they are not just in the present? So for us, performance work as a method. Our intention is for you to meet the human and to meet kind of like the most complete kind of aspect of the character that you could. At the end of the film, I'll be here if you want to stay for a bit of a discussion, and you can tell me if you think you met the real guy, or if you think that there's a human person with his contradiction and his kind of like complexity there, or he actually performance and documentary kind of work together. You would be a great help to help me write my dissertation of the PhD. So I love to have these like 60 or 70 brains working for my dissertation a little bit would be great. So thanks a lot again for coming for make this thing happen. with no pressure, I hope to see you at the end of the film. Have a great screening in this fantastic place. Thank you very much.